Hi everyone, namaste, it's Mikaila. Happy Sunday. Here in Brooklyn, New York, and it's one of my first times teaching here in a friend's place, and I'm really excited to share some relaxing poses with you guys today. It is obviously the middle of summer, and I know that a lot of you are starting to find yourselves being outside again, and I encourage you to stay safe and stay mindful and stay peaceful right here. So I'm going to be sharing some really, like I said, some really relaxing poses today. And I want to thank Soulivity as well as Soulivity Magazine for having me teach every Sunday. So hopefully everybody can hear me as I go to the mat. Again, this is my first time in the space, and you might hear some outside noise, but that is New York City, right? Brooklyn and Queens and all the other boroughs. So this is what we hear. So let's just begin in a seated position. And whatever that is for you. So let's say you have maybe knee issues. Okay, so maybe you're coming, maybe you want to extend your feet out, or maybe just sit in a nice relaxed pose. Whatever pose feels comfortable for you, please be sure to do that. So let's first bring our hands to our heart space for a moment. And let's set an intention. Also called in yoga, we call it sankalpa. Sankalpa is an intention that we use. It could be a wish or an intention actually for yourself or someone else in your life who you intend happiness, so or peace, or whatever you choose. So let's just take a moment and breathe mindfully for a regular breath, and let's set our sankalpa. Okay. And let's put our eyes open for a moment, placing our palms on our knees. Take a nice deep breath in with the nose. Exhale with the mouth. Inhale. Exhale to the mouth. That's not only you to inhale, but as you inhale, begin to slowly bring your shoulders up to your ears. So as we inhale, inhale, sip in a little bit more breath, sip, and then exhale, dropping the shoulders. Do that 3 more times. So inhale, lifting the shoulders, Sip, sip. And then exhale to the mouth. Inhale, lifting the shoulders. Then letting go, releasing all that tension. One more time. Inhale. Lifting, lifting, lifting. Exhale, dropping the shoulders. Good. Okay, still seated. Let's take both our hands, lifting them up to the sky. So inhale. And then exhale, bring those palms down to the mouth. 2 more times. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Let's inhale one more time. Inhale, lifting the arms up. This time, bringing the palms out in front of you. Exhale, bring your palms in front of you. So let's stay here for a moment. Let's just take a breath here. And when ready, inhale. And as we exhale, begin to slowly walk your fingertips in front of you. So wherever you are right now, if you're completely folded, that's great. If you choose to stay here, what I like to do is lift my fingertips in order to stretch out my shoulders. So you have a choice of placing your palms flat on the floor in front of you or lifting the fingertips to add a little stretch to your shoulders. And if you haven't already folded, inhale. And then see if you can fold a little bit more. And then when you're ready, begin to lift and then take a deep inhale. And as you exhale, begin to slowly bring your fingertips to your right. Stay here for a moment. And as you exhale, begin to fold forward. And then ready, inhale, lift. And then exhale, walking the fingertips to the front of you and then all the way to your left. Take a deep inhale. And as you exhale, begin to fold forward. And then inhale, lift. And then exhale, come back to the front. And then inhale again, coming back to seated position. So let's do a seated cat-cow pose. So let's place our palms in our hand, palms on our knees. Take a deep inhale. Exhale through the nose. And as we inhale, begin to lift your chest to the sky. And if you have any problems with your neck, be sure to keep it neutral. If not, you can just lift and then bring your head back. And then exhale, begin to round your back. And inhale, lift. And then exhale, back. Just 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Big inhale. And then a deep exhale. Good. So let's continue with coming on our hands and knees. So as we are on our hands and knees, we want to be mindful. The tops of the feet are on the mat. All 10 fingers are spread apart. You want to be mindful that your hips are stacked over your knees and your shoulders are stacked over your wrists. So do the same pose that we did seated. So as we inhale, we begin to lift our chest to the sky. And then exhale, rounding the block. And inhale, lifting. Exhale, round. 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And begin to walk your fingertips or your palms to the top of your mat. And then take a deep inhale, and as you exhale, begin to slowly bring your body to your ankles. Child's pose. So in child's pose, you can keep your knees together, or for an extra hip opener, you can spread your knees and then fold them. And when you're ready, begin to come back up, coming back into hands and knees. Actually, let's bring our palms back to the tops of our mats. Keeping all 10 fingers spread apart. You're gonna tuck your toes, bend your knees, and then lift up into downward facing dog. So in downward facing dog, again, all 10 fingers are spread apart. Your shoulders are drawn in. Your feet are hip width apart. Let's bend our knees, hover over our mat for a moment. Little core workout here. And then come back to downward facing dog. Breathe here. And then begin to walk your feet to the top of the mat. Feel free to bend your knees. Forward fold. And then rise, inhale. And then palms to heart center. So as we're standing here, let's bring our feet maybe 3 feet apart. Anywhere is comfortable for you. Do some grounding poses today. So going to inhale, bringing your hands to your hips. Inhale. As you exhale, begin to start folding maybe halfway, keeping that spine straight. So let's stay here for a moment. And then take another deep inhale. As we exhale, begin to fold forward, placing the palms on the mat. Inhale, lifting our heads for a moment. And then walking our fingertips maybe just a few feet in front of you. Then take a deep inhale, exhale. Try to see if you can bring your palms a little farther away from you. And then inhale, exhale, begin to bring your palms back between your feet. And this time, once you inhale, lifting that right arm up for a twist. And then exhale, come back down. Other side, inhale, lifting that left arm up. And then exhale, begin to bring that left arm down. Breathe there. And then inhale halfway, lengthening the spine. And then bring our hips, our hands back to our hips. Inhale, coming all the way up. And then bringing our feet together. Coming into just a prayer here, prayer hands here. And let's have a seat. So, as we continue to practice, let's do some hip opening poses. So, depending on where you are, depending on your hip flexibility, for myself, being a runner, a lot of times my hamstrings and my quads are very tight. So sometimes those types of stretches, even opening the hips, might be a bit of a challenge. So wherever you are in your practice, you're exactly where you should be, and the journey is yours. So we're going to take the soles of our feet together, and whether it means bringing your close to your torso, like I'm doing right now, or maybe the outward butterfly pose. So maybe the soles of the feet might be a little bit farther away from you. Either way, we're going to keep our spine straight. Just take a moment. So again, wherever you are in practice, be mindful of the soles of the feet are together, and gently place your hands on your ankles. And let's take a deep inhale, and as we exhale, begin to fold forward. So if you'd like to stay here, whatever is more comfortable for you. We're going to take another deep inhale, and then exhale so you can fold forward a little bit more. So be very, very mindful about the groin area, your outer hips, your knees. So if you have any issues, please be sure to either bring your feet farther away from you or just stay in a seated pose. So fold forward. And take another deep inhale. As you exhale, begin to see if you can fold a little bit more. When you're ready, begin to come back up. So inhale, slowly keeping the spine straight. Come back up to neutral. So let's now take our feet away from us. Let's extend our feet, and then just have a little stretch here. So whether that be grabbing your foot or your shin or your thigh, just giving yourself a little stretch here. Okay, so now opening up our hips a little bit more. Let's bring the right sole, left sole of the foot into the right thigh, right inner thigh. So in here, we're going to take a moment and direct our attention to the extended right leg. So you want to make sure that the foot is flexed. We're going to take a nice deep inhale. And as you exhale, begin to fold forward. So whether that means staying here, or if you're flexible, maybe grabbing onto your foot. We're going to take another deep inhale. As we exhale, begin to fold forward. And when you're ready, wherever you are, take a deep inhale, slowly bringing your fingertips back up to center. So let's try the other side. So just as a reminder, one side might be a little less or more challenging. So be kind, be kind to yourself and be patient. So bringing the right sole of your foot now into the left thigh. Take a moment here. And then let's direct our attention to the left leg. Ensuring that the sole of your foot is flexed to protect your knee joint. Take a deep inhale. And as you exhale, begin to come into a fold. So again, see one of my hips is very tight, so sometimes it'll take me a little bit longer, or I'm just patient and accepting of maybe staying here through the practice. But if you are flexible enough, keeping that foot flexed, you're going to inhale. And as you exhale, begin to fold forward. You might be hearing the ice cream truck outside. Reminds me of the old days. So we can take 3 more breaths here. And then when you're ready, begin to slowly, keeping the spine straight, slowly begin to walk yourself back to neutral. So let's bring our feet back together again, extended out in front of us. We take a little stretch here. Now let's, since we've done a few hip openers and we've stretched out our hamstrings a bit here, let's begin to straddle our legs outward. So in this posture, whether you feel more comfortable keeping your legs closer together, or if you do have the hip mobility to keep them straddled, as long as you're mindful that of your groin area, that you're not straining it. So. And stay here for a moment, finding stillness, checking in, seeing how your flexibility is, how mindful you are. And then when you're ready, take a deep inhale. And as you exhale, begin to slowly move forward, not folding, just maybe staying here for a moment, wherever that is. Maybe if you want to try coming down on your forearms just a little bit, just a little bit to stretch here. And then when you're ready, if you're comfortable here, stay here. If not, you want the deeper expression of the pose, you take a deep inhale, and as you exhale, begin to see if you can fold forward. And when you're ready, wherever you are, begin to slowly bring your fingertips closer to you. Now let's once again bring our legs together, and this time shake your legs out. Okay, so let's come into a forward fold here. So in Dandasana is a very active pose. In Dandasana, it's not really just sitting up or just sitting here. You're basically placing both palms on the mat, sitting up nice and tall, feet are flexed. As we inhale, begin to bring the palms up, and then exhale, begin to fold forward. So in this fold, you want to make sure again that the feet are flexed and that your spine is straight. So if you're comfortable placing your palms on your shins, or even here, or even right on the sides of the mat here, wherever you are is fine. If you do have more flexibility in your hamstrings, we'll just take a deep inhale. As we exhale, begin to fold forward. And then when you're ready, begin to slowly bring your fingertips back to neutral. Again, coming back into Dandasana, facing both palms on the mat. And then now let's come onto our backs for a little back bending pose. So as we're on our backs, let's imagine that there's a block in between our knees here. And as we do, you either have the option of keeping your palms directly on the mat, or when we come up, clasping the hands together. So coming into bridge pose, we're going to keep mindful that there's an imaginary block in between our knees. As we inhale, let's bring our hips up. So you have the option here of clasping the hands together for an added shoulder stretch, or placing the palms on the mat. I'm going to stay here for a few more breaths. And then exhale, slowly bring your hips back down to the mat. Do it one more time. Inhale, lifting the bum off the floor, keeping those knees together, but imaginary block in between them. And maybe clasping your hands together. And then exhaling, coming all the way down. And as we begin with our closing sequence, if your hip does have mobility, as we're reclining here, try to see if you can bring the soles of your feet together in a reclined butterfly pose. And then as you're doing that, maybe placing one hand on your heart space and one hand on your belly. Let's stay here for a moment. Reminding ourselves that we are loved unconditionally. We are safe. We are peaceful. And you can stay here, keeping the soles of your feet together. But as we come into the closing poses of Savasana, in Savasana, the traditional pose is to lock your feet out, palms come up. But you can still stay in that butterfly pose if that suits you. So let's stay here and begin to close the practice, breathing a regular breath as we rest in Savasana. And then as you return to the breath, maybe wiggling toes, wiggling fingers, coming back. Now let's turn to our right for a moment. And then when we're ready, begin to come back to the beginning of our practice, where we're here in a comfortable seated pose. So I want to thank everybody again for attending this class. It's such a pleasure to be your guide today. As we end the practice, let's bring our hands to our foreheads to remind us to have clear and loving thoughts. As the cars are honking in the background. Our palms to our mouths to remind us to have clear and loving communication. And finally, our hands to our hearts to remind us to have clear and loving intention. Thank you and namaste.
Soulivity Magazine brings you the best in inspiration on Soulivity TV. Check out our new shows. Mark your calendars for Soulivity Magazine shows by going to soulivity.com now.